was really hot tonight.
Yeah, I thought we played well. You know, we made our free throws. We we've missed probably 12 layups. You know, if you make 8 of those, you know, it's a totally different situation. But I thought we actually got the ball exactly where we wanted to get it and played well. And defensively, you know, we didn't do a great job on a couple of their guys, but we did a really good job on their perimeter.
And I didn't see, but was there a thing on the handshake line?
No, he just didn't want to shake hands, he just did a flyby. That's fine. That's fine.
Hunter had mentioned, before it's Hunter had mentioned how it stuck with him, how the K-State game went over in Manhattan, and stuck with him how they celebrated a little more, and he thought they would. You see that kind of stick with the team in this game, especially since it's a rivalry game?
Yeah, that stuff, the celebration and going in the stands, and so we're used to that. So that's not, you know, I will say this, when we got our ass kicked there, we shook everyone's hand and, you know, did a handshake line and all that stuff. So I guess it was different here today. But the whole thing is, that's what happens with rivalries. I mean, that's what happens with rivalries. And if it didn't stick with them, then they probably shouldn't be playing here, you know, because that's, you know, you always want to be your rival.
You mentioned the success you guys had defending the perimeter. Just what was so key to limiting Perry and Carter to 1 of 13?
I think the ball screen defense was good. Now, they scored behind it some, but they didn't score off the screens, and that's where they hurt us so much over at their place, I thought.
And then you touched on this in your speech at the end, but just, you know, you've been promising a game where Nick would hit a few threes, and he got one tonight. Just how did it feel to see that come to fruition for him?
Yeah, you know, I saw his family. They were out taking pictures at midcourt about 4:30 today, and with his uncles and mom and dad and everything. I said he's going to make 5 tonight. I actually thought he made 5. He only made 4, but he's going to make 5 tonight. So when he made his 4th, I thought it was his 5th, and I turned to the family and I did 5, and they all did it back to me, and so they can't count either. So neither one of us can count.
Bill, just you know, going along with Nick, you know, he's saying he's 3-0 on senior day. You know, Kevin's saying he's 2-0 on senior day. DeJuan's already said he's coming back next year. Just how do you embrace just having these guys and letting them get more eligibility?
Well, you know something, it won't happen moving forward because this is because of COVID year. And this is the last year that there's a COVID year. Like KJ won't get a COVID year. But well, I think that's not the last, because 4th year seniors this year can't come back and come back next year. So it could be one more year. You're right. It could be one more year. Then after that, it won't happen again, at least unless they change the rules. But I actually, it's nice. You know, this has been such a strange time for us because we had, you know, arguably as good a non-conference as anybody had in America. You know, Connecticut, you know, Tennessee, you know, you played Kentucky. I mean, you had some great wins, and then we haven't been as good in conference play. We haven't been as good, but our conference is really good. So if we had played really well in conference, instead of being, what are we now? 10-7?
10-7.
So instead of being 10-7, if we play great, we'd be 13-4. If we play great. So we're 3 games off of where we probably hope we would be. But you know, the feeling that happens so often here is when you lose, you know, the sky is falling. And you know, we did fall out of the top 10 this week for the first time this year, if I'm not mistaken. For the first time in 3 years, we fell out of the top 10. It's not like the sky is falling. And if we're healthy, you guys have seen it. When we're healthy, there's no guarantee we're going to play well. But when we're healthy, we can be kind of tough to deal with, and we just haven't been healthy. So I'm proud of our guys. We've had a good year, but we haven't had a special year. In order to have a great year or a special year, we got to play good from this point forward.
And going back to those ball screens, and it seems like y'all were pretty stingy on defense, going one at their hands. Was that kind of a point of emphasis? Like trying to get steals and like when they never get the ball.
Yeah, I don't know that was an emphasis more than usual, but you know, what did we get, 9 tonight? So that's a pretty good number against a good ball handling team. They only turned it over 11 times, and to get 9 steals, that's a pretty high number.
You talked about in your speech there, wanting Hunter to come back. what does that timeline look like with discussions with him? Is that
I haven't had
after
one
the
discussion
season?
with, I think that all players should focus on the season, get through the season, because the best way for him to have a decision is for him to play well and not worry about all this other stuff. It's the same way with Kevin, it's the same way with K-State players, it's the same way, when guys got a decision to be made, you need to play the best from when it counts the most. And so I haven't had any talks with Hunter about it, but it is an option. I heard a media guy say this about Joel Embiid once, saying that, he could go or stay. And I said, wow, that's some great journalism there. He could go or stay. And he said it on national TV. And I gave him crap for a long time, but Hunter's the same way. He could do either one. So we'll just wait and see how it plays out.
What about that environment tonight, the way that the crowd, embraced Jank and Patrick and wanted to get them on and
Yeah, crowd's always great. Fans are always great, We didn't give them a lot to cheer about in our last outing, and we got beat. But we played better tonight, and the crowd always does their job. And, it's every time you walk out there, it's 16,300, waiting on you. So, they were good, obviously.
Anything else? Jay?
Real quick, Coach, you talked about health. As the season kind of winds down to March, do you think you guys will be whole when?
I don't know. I hope so. I have no idea. I think Kevin is a situation where he could, he's had about 5 blowouts in the last 2 games where he can't explode off his leg yet, but he'll get better. But the whole thing is with him, he could tweak it at any time and be a setback. But I think Parker needs to get well so we can put him out there for. But for this late in the season, and Kevin be the primary situation, there's a lot of teams dealing with a lot more than what we've had to. Even though we don't have much depth, we just can't have one of those guys go down.
Bill, the last defensive possession of the first half, you gave up the 3 against BYU, but tonight you got the stop. Positive signs, progress, anything like that?
Well, it was terrible defense,
Okay.
and Hunter made a great play. Isn't that the one where Hunter
Yeah.
Hunter blocked the
Yeah.
shot off the ball screen? Bad defense. We didn't load up at all, and then Hunter made a great play. I thought the first half they hurt us on that. Second half we were a little bit better, but there's still a lot of things we got to tighten up.
And then also, you got up big and then you put your foot down. Is that these guys finding a different gear?
I hope so. I don't know. I thought we ran pretty well in the second half, but I hope so. I think that we've left timeouts a lot up 9, and 9 becomes 5 in 2 possessions, and that didn't seem to happen tonight.
Bill, you talk about that depth and y'all not having it this year. I know some roster moves happened earlier this year, but has it been difficult to kind of build some depth with this year's team, or try to get some depth with this year's team?
Yeah, I would say so. We don't have as many guys, and guys don't provide depth. Having a 6th, 7th, and 8th starter provides depth. And we haven't been consistent with that. Although we got good players, but we haven't performed. Like Nick's a really good player. We see it in practice, but it hadn't translated to the games. And tonight, you guys saw even the one dunk. Didn't he have a dunk in transit? I mean, that was impressive. I mean, how athletic he can be off balance like that. But so I'm hopeful that our depth will be the best it's been all year, moving forward. And then in the tournament, the timeouts are longer and the half time's longer and all the things. You may not need as much depth unless you have foul issues.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.